Comrade Radhakrishnan, who has organized this very wonderful Smriti EMS program, and my dear sisters from the Mahila Association, Mundi Master, and comrades. Maybe this is also symbolic that the session on women and gender is coming at the end of the program. So maybe when you plan your next program, it should be coming somewhere in the beginning so that we can have the full time to discuss this very important issue. I am very proud to be here today speaking as part of the EMS Smriti program because we in the women's movement from the party, we know how much Comrade EMS thought about the problems, not only about the oppression of women and the exploitation of women, but also the theoretical aspects of the problem and how the women's organization should be organized. You know that our Mahila Association was formed only in 1981, but many states were having strong women's movements. When the All India Democratic Women's Association was going to be formed, Comrade EMS played a very big role in the discussion as to what kind of organization it should be. Some people thought it should be a wing of the party, some people thought it should be a revolutionary vision. And after a lot of discussion, it was Comrade EMS who clarified certain points which I think is something unique, not only in the women's movement of India, but actually in the women's movement of the world. And if we really understand what he gave us as a basis for the women's movement of our organization, it will actually take the whole movement forward. Not only the women's movement, but the entire left movement. Because our understanding of things sometimes becomes very narrow. When we think of women's oppression, we mostly think of the gender aspect only. But Comrade EMS said that women's oppression is of three kinds. It is a threefold oppression in our country. It is woman as woman, that is the gender aspect. It is woman as worker, that is paid worker and unpaid worker. Because it is a woman who is actually part of the exploited class on the whole. She is doing so much work, not only in the fields, not only in factories, not only in different kinds of workplaces, but within the home also, the work that she is performing, society cannot exist without that work. And what we call social reproduction, that means the reproduction of a generation, that also cannot take place without the labor that women are giving, free and also paid or less paid. So the aspect of woman as worker has to be expanded. It is not to be confined only to somebody working in the LIC office or in the bank or as a teacher, but the entire spectrum of the work that women do and how that work is done, in what way, in which way that labor is not paid for even, that aspect of women's exploitation has to be also taken up very seriously. And the third aspect, that is woman as citizen. Now this is something that many people don't understand even in our organization. We brought up discussion. What is this woman as citizen? That means that woman as a citizen of the Democratic Republic of India, she should be an equal citizen. She should enjoy equal citizenship rights. But these rights are denied to very large sections of women. Most women, till very recently, even legally, they did not have equal property rights, equal rights of inheritance. That is one aspect. But apart from that, we were talking about the problem of Dalits earlier in the session. We were talking about problem of Muslims earlier. But very often, when we talk of the general term Dalit, or we use the general term Muslims, we forget that half the population is Dalit women. Dalit women and Muslim women, are they not subjected to even more discrimination than minorities? Minority women within that community. What is their condition? What is how much are they able to access rights of equal citizenship? That is a question that is not much discussed. It is discussed in the women's organization, but it is not discussed by the left as a whole. It is not discussed when the strategy of the left is being planned. Similarly, Dalit women, are they not facing even more discrimination than Dalit men? They are facing discrimination within their families, but they are also facing much greater discrimination outside. You know that in Kerala, what was the tradition? People say that was long time back. It was long time back, but mindsets don't change so easily. What was the situation? That a Pulaya lady, she could not wear a blouse. She had to keep the upper part of her body uncovered. Why? That was a message that she is not the owner of her own body. The landlords and the upper castes, they are the owners of her body also. And whenever they want, they can abuse her physically and nobody can do anything about it. What a big struggle. Today you see the opposite is happening. Women are being told, because you don't dress properly, so you are being attacked. Because you don't dress properly, the girls are being raped. So this question of dress code is always being imposed on women, sometimes from this side and sometimes from that side. And that is why I want to say, comrades, if we are really democratic, we have to oppose these dress codes completely. So at that time, they were imposing a dress code, you cannot cover your body. And today, they are trying to impose a dress code, you have to cover your body, otherwise you will be in trouble. So these are the ways in which women of different communities have suffered even greater oppression and even greater exploitation than the men of those communities. So when we talk about the triple oppression of Indian women, woman as woman, woman as worker, and woman as citizen, my question to all of you is this a problem only for the women's organization? Is this a problem to be dealt with and discussed only by Mahila Association? No. And I want to tell you, comrades, if you keep half the population away from your general thinking, from your general planning, from your strategy of struggle, if half the population you keep away, then how can this struggle move forward and how can this struggle succeed? And today, comrades, I would like to say that we are living in a very challenging situation. We are living in a situation where our movement is suffering from many handicaps. Our leaders like EMS, they were leaders not only of the Communist Party, they were national leaders. They were leaders of all the sections of society because they were leaders of the freedom movement. They had fought against imperialism, whether it is Comrade Jyotiba Phule, whether it is Comrade TMS Namboodiripad, whether it is Comrade Surjit, whether it is Comrade A.K. Gopalan. They were the leaders of society. They were national leaders. We don't have that image. We don't have that background. So, this is one handicap. The second, at the time that they were working and fighting, there was the installation of the Soviet Union, installation of the socialist camp. You see the speeches, you see the writings. Always it is referring, yes, we can create a new world. A new world is possible. A new human being is possible. A new family is possible. A new man, a new woman, That is what we will create in our country also. And an example was given of the Soviet Union and the socialist camp. And I tell you, comrades, sometimes today they are on the defensive. We are only talking about this mistake and that mistake. I think we should stop that. We should be much more aggressive in our defense of what those socialist countries under such difficult situations could achieve. I think our women should make a lot of propaganda and campaign that in 1917 the Russian Revolution, Bolshevik Revolution occurred, and in 1923 they finalized the constitution of the Soviet Union. What was the situation? Inside the country there was civil war. All the countries of Europe were gathering up and sending soldiers, sending material to defeat this new regime, to finish this new regime. Even in that, when the first constitution of Soviet Union was framed for the first in the history of the world, that any government, we should not forget that. For the first time, the right to vote was given to all women in the Soviet Union. It was not there in England. It was not there in the United States. It was not there in the advanced countries of Europe. The first country to give the right to vote to women was the Soviet Union. What did this constitution say? We will not discriminate between legitimate children and illegitimate children. If children are illegitimate, it is not their fault. They should not be punished for somebody else's wrongdoing. Equality was given them. What I am trying to say that today communists are not regarded as a vanguard by many sections of society. Communists are not looked as the natural fighters for women's rights, women's equality, and social equality. Comrades, if we are to go forward in this country in this very difficult time, once again we cannot say, please accept me as your vanguard. Nobody is going to do that. By our actions, by our deeds, and by our struggles and campaigns, we have to once again establish our position as the vanguard of society. And what does that mean? Vanguard of society means if we are to lead all sections of society in their struggle for rights, in their struggle for emancipation, then the Communist Party, the communists themselves, they have taken lead in understanding those problems, understanding those struggles, and showing society that they are with all the oppressed sections, with women, with Dalits, with minorities, with Adivasis, with the workers and the peasants. That kind of image has to once again be regained by the communists if they have to face this very, very difficult situation. Now, what is happening? Socialist camp has gone. So, that natural inspiration that we could tell people about, that also we don't have. So, we don't have to struggle less. Actually, we have to struggle more. We don't have to understand less. We have to understand much more. In the last 25 years, huge changes have taken place. This era of so-called globalization. What is this globalization? It is a new form of imperialism. It is a new form of creating and accentuating every kind of inequality and exploitation. That is what globalization means. That means that the imperialist powers, they can smash all the barriers in all the other countries of the world, capture their markets, capture their raw materials, use whatever they want for their own profits, for their own development. Any kind of means they can adopt. If they want oil, and if there's Saddam Hussein to oppose them, they can bomb him. They can bomb any country that they want. They can wage war. They can send their armies. And where armies are not needed, unfortunately in our country, they didn't need to send the army because our leaders, whether they were Congress, whether they are BJP, they were ready. Don't send the army. Just give us commission. That is more than enough. Give my son a job in the World Bank. Give my daughter-in-law a job in the World Bank. Send the commission, and we will do as you say. And in that way, in our country also, we are seeing so many policies. I don't want to go into a discussion on this privatization and this and that because you all discuss it very often in many different fora. But I would certainly like to talk about the effect of globalization on women because there are many misconceptions. Many people feel, but it has got a modernizing effect. You see, our society has become very modern now. What is modern? Girls are going to school, women are getting jobs, they are becoming fashionable also. Many girls are wearing jeans, many ladies are wearing jeans. Some women are becoming film stars, some women are becoming models. But comrades, if we think that modernity has got something to do with dress and something to do with being glamorous, then should we think that those Kulaya women were more modern than us? No. So these are very wrong conceptions which today's marketing activity is actually making us hold on to. What is modernity? Modernity has got to do with equality. Modernity has got to do with justice. Where there is no equality, where there is no justice, there is no modernity. And if we see the situation of equality as far as women are concerned, today in our own country, women are more unequal. They are in a worse condition than, in fact, even some years back. Why is that? That is because it is the nature of neoliberal reforms. It is the nature of globalization that if exploitation is to increase, then inequality also has to increase. That doesn't mean that somebody is coming and just beating women and saying, now you are more unequal. No. It is done through a lot of mind control, a lot of thought control. You know, we have got a story in Mahabharata about Eklavya. You all know that story, I think. That one day Dronacharya and Arjun they went for hunting in the forest, and one deer came, and Dronacharya said to Arjun, "Now you shoot the deer. Let me see how good your marksmanship is." But before Arjun could do something, an arrow came from the forest, and the deer fell down. And Eklavya, who was hardly wearing one small cloth, he was a poor tribal boy, he came out and did namaskar. And they said, who are you? He said, I am Eklavya. So who is your guru? Then you know the story. He said, you are my guru. I made a small statue and every day I used to pray to that statue. So then Dronacharya said, if I am your guru, then where is my dakshina? So Eklavya said, you asked me? He said, give me your thumb. And he cut his thumb and gave it. And in our books, when we go to school, we are taught as if this was a wonderful sacrifice. In our country, the best teacher every year is given Dronacharya Award. And best sports person is given Arjun Award. What kind of guru is this? Would he have dared to ask Arjun for his thumb? Arjun would have cut his head off. Why? Because Arjun's samskara is different and Eklavya's samskara is different. Arjun's samskara is, I am the son of a king. Nobody can speak in front of me. And that poor Adivasi boy, his samskara is, when you meet somebody who is bigger than you, When you meet somebody who is a Brahmin, when you meet somebody who is a great person, whatever that person asks you, you must do because your samskara is to do seva. So, this is the samskara of Indian women also. In all our homes, this is the samskara of Indian women. Doing seva, doing seva, cooking, cleaning, not complaining. Nowadays, of course, they complain, that is true, some change has come. But basically, women are brought up, girls are brought up, they are conditioned. They are conditioned to accept a secondary status in the home and also in society. And I want to tell you, comrades, that this conditioning, this acceptance, it may be making you happy as husbands, I don't know. But more than you, it is making the corporates happy. Because with this mindset, women are ready to work for less wages, for no wages, and they are ready to accept the worst kind of working conditions without protesting. And that is what the modern corporate wants. The modern corporate doesn't want unions. It doesn't want labor that protests. It doesn't want organized workers. The workers in the factories are becoming contract workers. But for them, the ideal workforce is women. You see what is being done to women's work? We are being told globalization has given women work. There is feminization of work. But what is the work? And under what conditions are they getting work? These comrades, we have to understand this. This neoliberal policies, what is the main principle? The government must retreat from the social sector. The government must stop all those schemes and all those policies that are helping poor people. Free education, free medicine, some work program, subsidized ration, all that government must stop, and all these sectors must be handed over to the private sector. But people who are running the capitalist world, they are very clever people. Sometimes I think they are more clever than us also. Because they start thinking that what we are going to do, there will be a reaction, there will be a protest. So, how do we make that protest weak? How do we make that struggle that may occur weak? That plan, that strategy is there, and it is not just one thing. There are different kinds of strategy. Now, when I came to Kerala 3 days back, many people were saying, "Oh, now there's a lot of problem in Kerala. What is the problem? See, so many migrants are coming from Tamil Nadu, from UP, Bihar. They are coming. They are spoiling our Kerala. So you are seeing migrants who are coming to Kerala, but you are not seeing the girls of tribal families, Dalit families from Wayanad, from Idiki, 16 years old, 17 years old, who are crossing the border and going to Tamil Nadu and working in Tirupur, garment factories, making branded t-shirts for Gap, for Nike and for Reebok. And that labor of those girls, it is worse than slave labor. 3 years, they have to be locked up inside the factory. They cannot go home. They have to work for 12 hours, 14 hours, 18 hours. One girl said, to increase the speed inside the factory, they are given roller skates so that they can skate and go fast. And they are getting TV. Why are they doing? Why are they doing this work? People will say, you are free, don't want to work, don't work. Why are these girls doing this work? You please go to Idiki. You please go to Wayanad into the interior areas and you will see posters. Saubhagyavati scheme. You want to get married? Your father and mother have no money for dowry? You come to Tirupur. You work for 3 years. What is 3 years? Nothing. Sacrifice. Anyway, you are a girl, you have to sacrifice. Come and work. And after 3 years, we will give you 35,000 rupees. You can go back to Kerala and buy yourself a husband. With some dowry, you can get married. So what does this mean, comrade? That the way in which a marriage is positive, the way in which a marriage is supposed to take place, that it is some favor that is being done to the girl and her family by the boy and his family. So therefore the girl's family has to pay for it. It's not a small thing, it's not a simple thing. So much labor is being available for no money, less money, because of this understanding of marriage. I know in whole of India, you go to any PhD, you go to any hospital, private or government, the nurse will be from Kerala. They will say, oh, this climate is very bad. I know another custom, it is so dirty. Why are you working? Why are you working in Kanpur, in UP, in Bihar, in Odisha? Why are you working? No, we have to earn our dowry. Our parents don't have money. We have to earn our dowry, we have to buy gold. Only when we have gold, only when we can get NOC for the boy to go to Sharjah, only when we can give one motorcycle, one car, one AC, only then can we get married. Without that, we cannot marry. So, comrades, you have to see, when we say giving of dowry, it is our tradition. It is our samskar. There is no samskar like this at all. There is no tradition. The tradition was of history done, which belonged to the girl. Nobody would take it from her. Now what is it? Now it is payment for marriage, payment for a husband, payment for respect in the marital home, payment for being given some love by the in-laws. But you know what happens? It is not a one-time deposit. Now dowry has become a recurring deposit. When the girl gets married, you have to give. When her sister-in-law gets married, you have to give. When her mother-in-law dies, you have to give. When she has a child, you have to give. Throughout the life of the daughter, you have to give. And who is benefiting? Who is benefiting? It's not only the husband's family. So the husband's family will also have a girl. They have to do the same for that girl. Who is benefiting? It is the modern market that is benefiting. It is the market that is selling all its goods. It is the market that is benefiting. It is the corporates that are benefiting. And that's why you see what is going on television. I ask so many comrades, do you see on television what is happening? No, we have no time. There are so many meetings. This meeting, Mahila Association also, every day meeting, membership program, this agitation, that campaign. If we don't do, Shrimati teacher will phone. If we don't do, Seema will phone. Shailata will phone. So no time. May comrades say, we have no time. We may have no time, that means we are more busy people because the real leaders, no time. But please see what is coming on television. Superstition, rituals, and all are having anti-women message. I will give you only one example. That there is a house and the girl and her mother are sitting with the father. The boy and his parents have come to see the girl. It was a very horrible custom. Anyway, when they come to see the girl, Amitabh Bachchan is standing behind the pillar. He's hiding. And he's saying, this marriage will not take place. Girl is very good, but this marriage will not take place. Because the house is having walls without good paint. So this marriage will not take place. So immediately the tub of paint is brought. And the whole wall quickly is painted. As soon as the wall is painted, the mother and father of the boy they start saying, yes, girl is also very good occasion, we fix the date. But what is the message? The message is that the value of a girl is even less than one bucket of paint. That is the real message. And what have they achieved? They have added the cost of paint also to the girls' marriage expenses. And this is what is happening 24 hours a day. This is what the market is doing. And the result of this is that the status of women is being devalued, the status of girls is being devalued, and so much of the violence that we are seeing is a result of this. We have got a very wrong notion. Because some girl is wearing a swimming costume and coming, so there is a violence. No. There is a mindset that is being created that women are inferior, girls are inferior, and they can be treated in any way that we want. That is a mindset that is being strengthened. Patriarchy is being strengthened, and we as Marxists should understand patriarchy and capitalism go together. I don't know whether they are having classes now, but many of our generation we have read in this book, Origin of the State, Private Property, etc. And we have seen how the emergence of private property, how the development of capitalism has also strengthened patriarchy. So, if in this globalized situation, there is a new form of even greater exploitative capitalism, then certainly we should understand that patriarchy will also be greatly strengthened, not because it's a man-woman problem, but because the big corporates, the big multinationals and our own corporates, they want cheap labor. They want a source of uncomplaining cheap labor. And now you see, what are women doing? Joyati Ghosh has come here many times. She says women today belonging to the poorer sections and to sleep. They get up in the morning, if they are living in a village, they have to look after the animals, they have to cook the food for the entire family, then they have to go out and look for work, then they have to go somewhere else and sell something. So, this whole work that women are doing, we have to understand. No, I'll ask you. Today, the government is not wanting to employ properly paid employees. What are they doing? Project work is this. ICDS, ASHA, midday meal worker, assistant teacher, all these categories have been created. And what are the wages? 1,500 rupees, 2,000 rupees. In Kerala, you have got strong unions, so you fight to get something. Country, they all come to the meeting. The ICDS workers are not paid for 8 months. The ASHA workers are not paid at all. They are supposed to work free. And the education system, the health system, the nutritional program for small children, all this is on the shoulders of the least paid women. Not only they have to do the Anganwadi work, they have to distribute condoms also. They have to do census work also. They have to go and do the voter list also. And now the new BPL list and the new social minister for the Food Guarantee Act. Who is doing it? Again and again, it is ICDS workers. So what I am trying to tell you, comrades, is that today the exploitation of women, the second-class citizenship of women is responsible not only for the way in which neoliberal economy is being developed in our country, but it is also responsible for the increasing violence against women. If we take the question of sex ratio, in Kerala it is not such a big problem, but Kerala used to have the best favorable sex ratio in India. Unfortunately, from 2001 to 2011, the sex ratio of Kerala also has started showing some negative features. and it is directly linked to marriage expenses of girls. You see in the whole of North India, this belt, Western UP, Western Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Punjab, and Haryana. What is the sex ratio? Among 0 to 6, 700 to 1000, 820 to 1000. And these are the areas in which the maximum violence against women is taking place. The men who are coming out of villages where there are no girls, where they do not have any sisters, what is their approach towards women? What is their attitude towards women? Those people who raped that girl in the bus, that Nirbhaya, two of them were from Rajasthan, from Haryana, and two were from Western UP. So it is not that, you see what happens. Supposing some community starts behaving in a certain way, our response is, oh, they are like that only. But nobody is like that only. People become like that. There are conditions that change the way people think, that change the way that people behave. And my dear comrades, you will be shocked to know, you go to Haryana today, in every single village, you will find Malayali girls married to Jats. How did they come there? The nurse in the PHC, she may have got into some relationship. Then she will tell him, I can get more girls from my village. Because of dowry, they are not getting married. So, some different system has started. Those Jat families will give some 10,000 rupees. It will be 5,000 for an illiterate girl coming from Bengal or Odisha. From Kerala, because she is educated, it will be 30,000 rupees, 35,000 rupees. That money will be paid to this in-between Malayali girl, and she will come here to Wayanad, to Perantalamana, to Palghat, to so many places. And in her village, she will start talking. They will say, oh, how are you over there? Oh, I'm doing very well. You see, I've come back. We have a lot of food in our house, good land, good milk, no problem. Oh, really? And suddenly you see, if there is some boy for my daughter, I'm not finding him. She said, I found. Then the talk starts. And the family in Haryana gives the money for the whole Malayali family to go over there. They pay the marriage expenses and they give some money to this facilitator also. Facilitator is very happy because she is also like a slave. But to get other girls, she gets a paid holiday to come to Kerala and visit her family. So, you see how the net of exploitation is growing. It's not just that some rich person is exploiting. No, this system is making exploiters of the exploited themselves. And what you have to understand is, you may say they are getting milk and they are getting 4 chapatis. But what is the life of a Malayali girl in Haryana? What is her life? She doesn't know the language. She doesn't know the culture. She has no relative. She has no friend. She is living in a hot and dry place, coming from a humid and lush climate, from a different culture. She is uprooted. Why? Because parents cannot pay dowry, and because unfortunately our movement is also not taking up this issue. We are not taking up this struggle. We are not taking up this campaign. So, comrades, this is only one aspect, one kind of violence. Sex ratio violence and the violence of what are called bought wives. Wherever there is a low sex ratio, wives are being bought, wives are being abducted, and all sorts of atrocities are being committed. Malayali girls are a little better off, they are educated. They know the law also, and they always keep the phone number of their local MLA with them. If there is any problem, they can phone. But the other girls who are illiterate, who don't know anything, can you imagine their plight? in that kind of family, what is happening? One brother will keep that woman, he will have two children, then she will give it to the next brother. Then she is given to an old man in the village. This is the condition of our girls and our women, and we don't want to face it. We don't want to look at it. And we are talking about violence. Violence is not only Surya Nadi case. There are many kinds of violence. And the sex ratio, that means killing girls before they are born, that is a huge violence that is taking place in our country. And this filling up the gap with born wives, that is another kind of violence that we are seeing. And along with this, so many other things are happening with the new kind of society that is developing, the kind of alcoholism that is spreading. And I'm very sorry to say that my own state of Kerala, we are seeing this problem. And of course, political parties like the Congress, they are trying to just make some propaganda value. We are going to ban, they want to ban small hotels, big hotels, this hotel, that hotel. But the problem is there. The problem is there. You talk to our women comrades. You speak to them about domestic violence. Speak to them about what is happening in the homes. And what kind of violence women are facing today. I have stayed, every year I come and stay in my village. And I see what is happening. After 7 o'clock, the temple also closes. Because after 6:30, the women go to see the serial. So even the temple cannot function. But the toddy shop remains open. The toddy shop remains open practically the whole night. Why? There are some people who can drink openly. So they will come at 5 o'clock itself. Then there are some people who are very respectable people. So they will come only at about 7:38 when they will not be seen. And then there are some people for whom it is haram, but they will also come. They will come after 10 o'clock so that nobody will see them. But it's a problem. It is a problem which is linked to the kind of society that is being created, because neoliberal policies also means that center-state relationships are changed. And the money that the states could collect, the financial condition of the states is so weak that today every single state is dependent on revenue from bigger, otherwise it cannot pay the salaries of its employees. This is the condition. So we have to see things in a different way. We cannot say because we don't have money so we have to send liquor. We have to also say no. We must try to have a unified battle to get more revenue for the states, more rights for the states. There are no shortcuts. The shortcut will lead to more misery and more violence, and that shortcut cannot take society forward. So, comrades, what I am trying to say is, please don't look at problems of gender as a problem of Mahila Association. No. If you want to fight neoliberal policies, if you want to fight against the economic policies that are being pushed down our throats, now we are going to have a strike in the whole of India on 2nd of September against changes in the labor law. It's very good. But I want to appeal to all of you that unless you see women also as part of the working class, as part of the struggling people, as part of the exploited people. That's the first step. And the second step is to see them as the most exploited. And the third step is to see that without their free labor, without their cheap labor, this whole structure will collapse. If there is no ICDS, if there are no women looking after old people in the family free, looking after children free, cooking free, going and doing work without getting anything, if this whole system of super exploitation of women and their labor, if the resistance builds up, then actually this whole neoliberal regime itself will be weakened I don't say it will come crashing down. It will be weakened. But for that to happen, we have to expand our thinking. Because don't think that women will one day just stand up and say, okay, okay, now we have understood your problem. Now we are going to fight. And they will all come with you. No. When we talk about identity politics, what is identity politics? It is also a strategy. It is a strategy of imperialism to divide the working class. That is the way in which we have to see it. And it is affecting and creating new identities. This whole business about eating beef, not eating beef, that is part of trying to put a Hindu identity on Hindus of Kerala who have traditionally been eating beef. But now they are also changing their own understanding of what is their identity. It's very interesting. That hotel that was attacked in Kozhikode, that the boys and girls are meeting and holding hands. It's a Muslim hotel. So no question of holding hands. It was attacked because it's a Muslim hotel. It was attacked because it's a Muslim hotel in which beef is also available. It is legal in Kerala. But that is the way in which different kinds of identity politics are working. Hindu identities are being created, Muslim identities are being created, Dalit identities are being created to keep all these exploited sections away from the working class movement, away from the left movement. So don't think that women are not the victims of identity politics. I see now in Kerala, I mean, don't talk about Dubai. Every small temple, when it has its festival, I think thousands of women come on the streets. Thousands. Whole night, I don't know what they are doing. Walking here, walking there, wearing good saris, with their children. I don't know what they are doing, but they are having a good time. That's what they want to do. It's go to temples. So this is, as I say, more affluent level. But Dalit women are also being affected by Dalit identity politics. You should know that living in Kerala, it's happening in Kerala every day. That some issues raised in this way, and they are being told that the left is anti-Dalit because they are not taking this issue. Tribal women, they are also becoming the victims of identity politics. Muslim women, they are also becoming the victim of identity politics. So it's not a question of only uniting all women in the women's movement. It is a question of having the correct approach that will unite all these sections in the general left movement. We are having problems. People are not coming, youngsters are not coming. I went to meet some engineering students 3 days back. We asked them, you know who is Subhash Chandra Bose? We have heard the name, but we don't know who he is. That is the world today. We have to approach them. We can't say these are stupid children. Maybe stupid. But we cannot get some new children. We have to work with these children, with these youngsters. So, comrades, this question of gender oppression, this question of gender oppression, and this issue of what is happening to women's rights in this era of globalization, it's a very, very important issue for our movement, for our entire movement. And we have to change our way of thinking. I want to know, communists, don't feel angry with me. Only on a topic concerning gender, you have two women on the dais. What does this mean? When there is a session on caste, when there is a session on minorities, when there is a session on political movement, are not women also important components of these movements and these questions? Are there no women who know about these questions? Yes, they are. But when we think, women, okay, one session, 1 hour, comes what she will come, she will sit there, she will do that, they will be happy. Enough. Money. What does this mean? We are there, we are not going to leave the movement. We are there. But what about all the women who are watching on the outside? Everybody is looking very carefully at the CPIM, let me tell you. Everybody is looking because if we want to fight identity politics, we have to also take up the different issues of different sections. We just can't say you have to come and become part of the class and we will lead your movement. No. To bring them back into class politics, we have to address their sectional demands, their sectional oppression. And the biggest section is the section of women. Because women are poor, women are workers, women are Dalits, women are Adivasis, women are Muslims, women belong to all communities, and as women, they do suffer from discrimination and lack of rights. So, this is an important issue for our movement. For our movement to go forward, comrades, once again, the communists have to be seen as the vanguard. They have to be seen as the champions of women's rights. They have to be seen as the champions fighting for women's equality. And that means that our own conservative mindset also we have to change. I want to take only one example, small example, it is from Kerala only. Recent happening, there was a small movement here, Kids for Love. And we know what happened. Some RSS fellows, they attacked that hotel also. They made very bad statements. And many youngsters on Facebook and this and that, they said we are not going to tolerate this. And we will come and meet on Kochi beach on such and such day, and we will embrace each other, we will hold hands, we may kiss each other also, and we will have our own program. Now, we must see first who attached that program. It was RSS groups, Muslim fundamentalists also, they also went and beat up those people. And this Umar Chandi is a congressman. Why? He was supporting fundamentalists, but his police also went and beat up those people. They were not breaking the law. They were not doing anything violent against anybody. They were within the Constitution of India. There was consensual holding of hands going on over there. They were not doing anything violent. Peacefully they were protesting. But all the guardians of the conservative, exploitative framework, all those guardians saw them as a threat and they beat them. And I'm very proud to say that even though there was some confusion, even though there was some hesitation, but at least the CPI took a correct stand. They said this is not our movement, this is not our kind of protest, but it is a legal protest and the attack against it is wrong. We will come and defend these people. We will not allow this attack. That was the correct thing. So this is the way. But I know many people are saying, and now what is this? Now we have to do kissing now. What is that? No, we don't have to do any kissing. But we have to recognize protests that are coming. Protests will not come common in the way we want. Youngsters will protest in different ways. You saw what happened at IIT Madras, Chennai. That Dalit Ambedkar Periyar study group. And the protests that emerged. And it's very good that in all the photographs of the protest there are red flags because DYFI and SFI, they were leading the protest. That was very good. And what did the RSS say? This is an Ambedkarite Marxist group. Never before they used this language. And those Ambedkarites are saying, no, we are not Marxists, but we are happy that these people supported us. So, things will not move in the way that we plan only. Things will move in different ways. Protests will emerge also in different ways. But we have to see what is at the core of the protest. Today, with this BJP government, most regressive, anti-women, anti-people government, it is an anti-democratic government. Sometimes we feel that they are mad. What are they saying? They are saying that women are not human beings. They are factories to produce babies. Hindu women should have 14 sons, not daughters, sons. And Christian and Muslim women, they must be sterilized and not allowed to have any children at all. So, their attack is very clear. Their attack is on the autonomy of women, on the rights of women. And we have to stand there saying, no, we will not allow this kind of nonsense. We will defend the rights of women. Reproductive rights also are essential rights of women, and we will defend those rights. What are they saying? What are they doing? Every day, they are abusing women, they are abusing minorities, and they are abusing women. What did this Narendra Modi do during the election? He went to Haryana and he said, मैं खाक की धरती को प्रणाम करता हूँ. What does that mean? That I am saluting the land of Khak Panchayat. You all know what are Khak Panchayats. They don't allow young men and women to get married, they kill them. And Narendra Modi is saluting that land of Khak Panchayat. So this government is the most reactionary, most regressive government. And I tell you, comrades, this government will create its own protests. This government will inspire people to fight. But we have to recognize those protests. We have to recognize those battles. And we have to be there with the people when they are fighting. We have to be there with the people when they are fighting. We have to be there with women and all the other sections who are being attacked by this government. So therefore, I would like to say, please look at the policies and look at the effect that policies are having. ICDS is being cut. All the welfare schemes for women are being cut. That Comrade Mustafa was talking about NREGA, that is being cut. Mostly women are working in Kerala and NREGA. All the schemes that affect the lives of women are being cut by this government. PDS is being finished. Already APL ration is not coming. BPI also will not be available. So at every level, the attack on women, the exploitation of women, the oppression of women is actually increasing. And this is the moment, comrade, for the communist movement to once again come forward as a champion of women's rights, as a champion of equalities, and those who will fight to take a whole movement for women's liberation ahead. With these words, I thank you all. In Malak,